you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been 3 years since I posted a video on this channel. Oh my gosh. Wow, as you guys can tell, I'm back with better quality cameras, so therefore that was one reason of going away. Number two, life happened, you know. I got busy with school. I'm finally in my senior year, but y'all know I don't like a long intro, so we're just gonna get into the video. So today's video is a story time on how I made a wig for JT. This happened 2021 of March. I think it was March 25th, so it just became a year since I made this. But like I said, I don't like to talk too much, so I'm gonna just get into the story. Let me pull up all my receipts though. This is how I made the wig for JT. So when you're making a wig for a celebrity, number one, well, I don't know if it was just from my experience, but I never talked to JT at all. Like during this whole process, I talked to the stylist. So what happened was the stylist, which is just J Bliss, she had just posted a Instagram story, was like, oh, you know, who has a braided wig on hand for JT. Mind you, I had just started getting into making braided wigs, so I wasn't like, you know, really comfortable with them. But no, I wasn't comfortable with my work, but like it was still good to wear it look natural, you feel me? So I was like, you know what, I got these wigs at home, I'm gonna just go ahead and, like, you know, slap on the story, like, you know, if anything, I just make it overnight. So that's exactly what happened. So I set up my personal story, and then I also slid up on my private story too, and then my friend has sent it to me at the same time. So like I'm responding on both pages. So my personal account doesn't really show that I do hair, but my business account does. So she's seen my my personal account and then also opened the message on my hair page. So it just so happened that I had made a wig already. One of the first 3 pictures you've seen was a braided wig that I had just sent to Paris because I had a big order for that. So she was like, so she seen it, she was like, she said, it's for JT from City Girls, so give me your best one, please, and thank you, HD lace your thinness. So I'm just like, well, I don't have them on hand, but I definitely can make it. But then she was like, well, no, JT likes the one that she sent. So I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have one ready, but I can have it done by tomorrow. And she was like, all right, let me ask. So she goes and asks her, and she was like, what? And then she asks me what inch it was, and I'm like, knee length. And she was like, and so I asked her, like, is it okay, or does she want it longer? And she was like, that's good. When can it be done? She sends me a picture of the color, and I make it. So it was ombre, where it was black at the root, and then blue, like a dark blue, and then to a light blue. So you know, we discussed the size and everything, and I told him I could have it done by tomorrow. So she's like, yeah, can you have it done by tomorrow at 11 a.m.? So I'm like, sure, no problem. Mind you, I'm doing laundry at this time, so it was like 7 something. So all this back and forth, like all the hair stores in my area closed at 7:30. So we're going back and forth, and it's just me. I mean, like it's 7:20, like 7:15ish, and I'm like, this is a specific hair color. I know the hair store that might have it, but I just can't depend on myself going to this one hair store. I have to have other people go to different ones too, so just in case I don't find it here, at least I have other people going. So I called my mom and my cousin. But mind you, at this point, like, I'm sitting in the car like, oh my gosh, I'm like, let's make a wig for JT. Like I'm sitting in my car, I'm like, what? That's crazy. I'm really about to have my first celebrity client. But yeah, so I'm just sitting in the car like in shock, but still like responding professionally and stuff. So she's like, can you have it done by tomorrow by 11 a.m? I'm like, yes, I definitely can. Because mind you, I do this. I stay up all night and make wigs, so that was no issue for me. So, you know, we talk about it. She sends me the address, and I tell her, like, you know, I'm coming from Jersey, so like, you know, I'm gonna have to leave an hour ahead. She's like, no problem. So so I would stay up all night making the wig. Like when I say all night, I drove up there on, like, I would say 2 hours of sleep to New York. Mind you, I don't know how to drive. Like I suck at driving. So me driving to New York, 2 hours of sleep, yeah, done. I was falling asleep behind the wheel, but I'm like, nah, I gotta take this wig. So at first I was gonna drop the wig off to her shop. But like halfway there, she texts me like, you know, can you drop it off to her hotel instead? And I'm like, oh, the hotel? Am I actually about to meet a celebrity? What? Okay. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. I can take it to the hotel. I get there, nobody's calling. I mean, nobody's answering. So I go to the front desk and I'm like, you know, hi, I'm here for Jativa. I have a wig for her. And they're like, okay, let me call up to the room. Mind you, security, tight as hell. They would not let you go up there at all. Like, if you did not, if they wasn't answering, you're not going. Like, they keep them locked up like the freaking president or something. You feel me? So I sat for a good like 30 minutes just waiting for somebody to answer the phone upstairs. So they like, he had me sit in the lobby. So I'm like, okay, I don't mind waiting, you know, just let me know. So somebody finally answers upstairs and he was like, okay, man, you can go upstairs. So I get in the elevator, like, mind you, this whole time, like, I'm driving and doing all this, like, but like, it's not clicking in my head that I'm making a wig for a celebrity. So like, I'm just driving. So it's like when I got in the elevator, it's like, oh shit, I'm about to give my wig to a celebrity. Like, this is what I've always wanted to do. Like, this is the whole point. Like, my hard work is paying off. So my heart starts beating fast and the elevator door is open. I stay in the elevator for about, I would say, I was in the elevator for like 5 minutes, just sitting there. I was like, okay, walk, calm down. She's just a regular person. That's the difference. Just a regular person. Nothing more, nothing less. So I get off the elevator, I walk to the door, I knock on the door, and guess who opens the door? Guess. Her nephew. I was like, I wasn't disappointed because I'm like, damn, I really wanted to meet a celebrity, but you know, it's okay. So I gave him the wig. Mind you, like, I had just started doing, like, you know, taking my business serious. Like, I literally had just made my LLC 2 days before this happened, and I told God to like give me a sign. If this is what I'm supposed to do, give me a sign. So boom, 2 days later I get this opportunity. So like, I didn't have my bags with me, so I'm dropping this wig off. Like, nothing has my logo on it, but I had one bonnet. So I had my bonnet in the little container that I put it in. Like, you know, if they not going to, like, at least let my name be in the room somehow, you feel me? So I put my bonnet in it and I gave it to her, and I ended up leaving. So I would say, hold on, let me just make sure I got this. So then they hit me up, I would say like the next day, right? This is the part that nobody knows. The next day she hits me up like, hey, she said the braids are too big. So I'm like, huh? What you mean the braids are too big? She's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, no problem, my apologies. You know, like, how does she want it? Because I went off of the reference picture that they had sent off my page from the one I had sent to Paris. So I was like, you know, how does she want it? I'll fix it, no problem. Well, I said we, because, you know, I'm trying to keep the fact that it's not just me working on this wig, but it really is just me working on this wig. So I'm like, you know, no problem. Like, you know, how does she want it? I could definitely do it small. Let me know. So she sends me a pic. Well, I sent her a picture, like, you know, for size references, and she's just like, so the first one I sent was a go. She's like, she wanted them small. So I'm just like, okay. So she didn't want them too spaced out, and she didn't want them like jumbo. She wanted them like I would say this was like a medium size, but I guess she wanted the parts to also match. Because some people don't like, but like, you know, with braided wigs, you can't do them so close together because then it's going to be too heavy. So I was like, okay, no problem. So I'm like, so I'm texting them. So I was like the 24th, we're texting after we done spoke about the size and stuff. I'm texting like, you know, hey, does she still want this wig? You know, like, we're on delivering it, and nobody's answering. But like, mind you, I'm still working on the wig because something in my head just told me like, just work on it just in case. So at this point, they already have my one wig, but you know, that's the wrong size, so I don't even know if she's gonna wear it still. So I'm working on this whole other wig and not even knowing if they're gonna take it. So I'm working on this wig for like a whole, like, you know, another day. I'm like actually braiding them halfway like I normally do, and then just like, you know, taking breaks in between. So the stylist texted me back. She was like, JT's not answering her, so you know, she can't give me an answer as if, you know, what date and time they need, like if they were to take the replacement when they needed it. So I'm just like, okay. So I had called my old co-worker and I was like, hey, mind you, I'm trying to keep this as low-key as possible, so I'm not telling a lot of people. So I'm like, hey, I'm making this wig for somebody. You know, the sizing was off. I'm working on it just because, you know, I think that they might want it if I resize it. She's like, yeah, just work on it. You never know. Like, you know, you don't want them to you know, to hit you up and then to ask for the wig and you don't have it and you missing the opportunity. So I'm like, all right, bet. I'm gonna keep on working on it. So boom, the 25th, like I said, I spent the whole day. Like the 23rd is when we, like, this whole thing went down with me giving the wig to her. 24th is when I heard that, you know, she had a problem with the sizing. So I'm still working. So I'm working on a whole new wig and with no response. 25th is like, she texted me later on that night, like, you know, So I had texted her like, you know, like I want her to be happy with the wig, so if she's not happy with it, let me know what I could do to fix it. So she just liked it, but like she's still not answering the question as if they're still going to take the wig or not. So the 25th, she texts like, hey, we're going to need the hair today. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I believe I was like halfway done. I only had like this front section left of the wig to do, but the bottom ends needed to get braided. So I'm like, oh shit. So mind you, I called my cousin, and I'm like, at this point I was telling her that I was making a wig for like a celebrity stylist, but a celebrity client, but I never told her exactly who. So she was getting off of work and coming and helping me. So that day when I got that text, I called her and I finally told her, I'm like, hey, I'm making a wig for JT. When you get off of work, can you come help me finish the ends? And I'll call my sister, I'll call my mom. Like my mom was in their house already, but like, you know, I have foreign parents, so she really didn't know, like, you know, like who JT was. So she's just like, JT, what's gonna call it. I'm just like, mom, like you don't understand how serious this is. Like me making a wig for JT, that's huge right now. Like she's one of the hottest female rappers out right now. Like, come on girl, get it together. So she's helped. So I'm braiding, she's doing the ends. So like in the viral TikTok video, everybody was like, why does it say it takes a village? Because like it really took a village to make that wig. Like I'm braiding the top part, my mom is braiding the ends, my little cousin is braiding the ends, my cousin's braiding the ends, and she's shaving the hair, my sister braiding. Like we all in my room braiding. Like when I tell you it was Santa's workshop, it was Santa's workshop. So we in there braiding, boom, boom, boom. So she was like, yeah, they need the wig like around 10 p.m 9 to 10 p.m tonight. So I'm like, okay, perfect, no problem, we'll have it there. We're coming from Jersey. So we're driving up. I think we're almost like done. Like we were literally in there rushing. So mind you, I'm like, oh shoot, I can't drive to New York because I drive slow. So my cousin ended up driving because, you know, if we need somewhere to go, she the person to drive. If we going up the street taking our sweet time, I'm the person to drive. So my cousin ended up driving. Mind you, my mom was just like, you know, breathe, calm down, everything's gonna be okay. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm okay. It's just a lot of nerves, like, you know. It's like, okay, I was just like, I really hope she likes this one. This is what she want, because like making them wigs is not easy. Like it's a lot of work that goes into it. Besides just braiding it, it's a lot of work. So we're driving up to New York, we're playing music, like, you know, we're just like vibing, and then like we're getting closer and closer, and I'm like, we pulled up and I'm like, oh shoot, cousin, they're here this time. And she's like, how you know? I'm like, look at that car. Don't no regular person drive that car. And that was the SWAT car they had outside. Like, don't no regular person drive that car. They're actually here this time. So boom, we get there, we park in the parking garage, we walk across, we get to the thing. Mind you, we were late because we were stuck in traffic. I think she said it needed by 9 to 10, but we didn't get there until like going to 11, because we're driving from New Jersey. Jersey is an hour, and like depending on traffic, it could be long, like 2 hours. So we get up here, you know, the same process. They called the room, nobody was answering, so we had to wait. So they finally answered, and it was like, you know, who are you? And I'm like, Aletta, I have a wig for you. And they're like, okay, she wants to know if you want her to if you want me to go upstairs and bring the old one down, or take this new one. I'm like, you can take the new one up and then grab the old one while you're coming down, so that way, like, you know. So he's like, all right, bet. So the security guard takes it upstairs and come back. So when he comes down, he actually comes down with JT and Uzi. So I'm like, I thought I was just gonna meet one celebrity. I didn't know it was me and 2 celebrities. So like they come off the elevator, and I'm like, I'm looking like in shock, because I didn't know she was gonna be that short. Like I didn't know what to expect, because like I don't know, I wasn't really thinking too much of it, but I really did not know what to expect meeting my first celebrity. So her height really like threw me off. I'm like, I deadass thought she was like a little bit I thought she was taller on Instagram, like to the point where like when we left, after like her and Uzi had drove off from the hotel, we sat in the car and I was scrolling her Instagram. I'm like, there's no way she's this short, because she looks tall in pictures. I'm looking and comparing it. I'm like, oh, I finally see it. So they come down, she says hi, Uzi says hi, and they're like, okay, look, how much is the wig? And they're like, you know, I tell Uzi how much the price was, and like, you know, they were in a rush to go out. So I asked like, oh, you mind, like, can we get a picture? And she's just like, oh, you know, we have somewhere to go. Okay, like I said, so her and Uzi were rushing to go somewhere. So she was like, you know, we don't have time, like, you know, we have to go. So no problem. But Uzi forgot the cash upstairs. So because he forgot the cash upstairs, he had to go back in the hotel and grab it. And if you see the TikTok video, like, that's why I'm standing right there like that, because she's like, okay, she would take pictures of us but I didn't even know that she was fixing herself up to get ready to take pictures. The whole time my cousin's clicking, so I'm thinking she's taking pictures with me as well. So when I watched the video back, I'm like, I look awkward as hell. I didn't realize I was that close to her. I thought there was like a lot more space in between us. So yeah, so I'm like, oh, okay, you know, she's fixing her hair, putting her lip gloss on, and then Uzi comes back down. We took pictures, you know, me and her took pictures, and my cousin went. And then I'm like, so I start tearing up, and she was like, oh, are you crying? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, why? I'm just like, no, it's just like, I just work really hard, and I go like, I get like many sleepless nights where I don't sleep. So like finally seeing my hard work pay off, it's just like, this is the moment that I've like, you know, always wanted. And then like having my cousin, who I really like, that's my rock, like my dog, my everything, having her there to share that experience with me was just like, it was just, I'm a big baby sometimes, so it was just like, it was just really, it was just all a lot. So like, you know, we give them the wig, we take our pictures, and they end up leaving. So like, we sat in the car for like an hour just like thinking of everything, because like I said, my cousin's been there with me from the jump. So when I first started doing hair, we used to do hair in my room together. So her, for me going from that to like that moment right there, that was a big deal. Like, eyes on my wrist. Many days I never sleep. Every day I'm kissing with love. That's crazy. You feel me? I called my mom and told her, like, you know, we gave her the wig, everything went well, we're on our way back, you know. And then I get home. I think the worst part of the whole experience was waiting for her to put the wig on. Like, giving the wig to her was easy, but waiting for her to put the wig on. So like, I think a couple days go by and I finally made a post, and I was like, I could finally cross making us like a wig for a celebrity off my list. So here goes everybody in my town like, oh my gosh, who is, I'm going to a beauty supply store, like, oh my gosh, who is it? And I'm just like, but me, I'm just like, oh, y'all have to wait till like, you know, the person wears it, then I'll share. But as for now, only my close-knit friends and family knew, you know. So a couple days go by, she finally posted the wig and stuff. She looked amazing. She wore it to Jate's Young Miami's mom release party. She looks beautiful. She was super sweet in person. But yeah, so that's the story on how I made the wig for JT. Well, how I made 2 wigs for JT, but it was a crazy experience. She was super sweet. I had fun. I would definitely do it all over again, because I think I just worked well under pressure. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the videos, you know, comment some video ideas. I'm fully back on YouTube. You know, I got the whole new banner, a whole new thumbnail, everything. So, and I got a whole new camera set up. So yeah, I got no excuse now.